and we just need to change the microphone back to the normal one because now that's working. There we go. Nope, I didn't change because I got interrupted by a prompt to update something. Okay, that's fixed. We'll open Steam and we'll open Opera. We'll see if Opera wants to now work with me. Or not. Let's find out. Okay, Opera seems to be playing ball. Oh my god, I stream. I know, right? Another stream? Damn. Okay, let's see. What shall we do then? What we're going to do, guys, I'm going to Opera and GDevelop. We're going to switch to GDev. We're going to make a temporary scene in GDev so I can do some experimenting without leaking too much of an update. We'll open up one of the blank events, spacer events. There we go. And we'll switch to that window. Cool. Yeah, it's fine. The black bit down is just because you can't see my bar down here. That's fine. Cool. There you go. You got a screen at least. And what we're going to do, Excel. We're going to find what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. So I read someone's going for lunch, but I didn't really read who. So I was having their lunch. Bon appetit. Right. So today we're going to focus on these now. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it reminds me. I need to change what I'm doing. So for Twitch, we'll change it first. Let's get some music on. I open Twitch and it goes straight to Bosch and I just hear some rap music. I'm thinking, I don't remember playing rap music for my stream. Bosch. What are you doing? Albums. Let's see. What album should I play? What's this like? Oh, yeah. No. There we go. I thought so. I can hear from the kitchen just fine. I feel you on that. Right, let's have a quick see. I need to change the stuff for my stream first, then we'll get rolling again. So, change the stream values. We're now doing game development. Software and game development. There we go. Done. Simple as pie. And for YouTube, this will be the fun one. Content, live. See, littler places are easier to maintain, is my opinion. Like my room now is, it's actually a bit bigger than my old room. I'll give it that. The thing about it though, let me close my Telegram because my Telegram's gone mad. The thing about my room being this small, especially, is I find that it's easy to maintain. Whereas at home I had a huge room, like quite big, and that after a while gets annoying to maintain. So, depends how you view it. Where's the stream type? They're not gaming. It's what would it even fall under? Science and tech? No, it's an educational. I don't know if it's called entertainment or something. I don't know. Actually, I know what I'll do. Gaming. I'll just do gaming and I'll save the game name in that. I'm gonna do it that way. Would have liked the room to be a meter wider, but that's about it. Yeah. We had a really small kitchen in one house once, and I had the same sentiment on that regard. Because it felt too small. the kitchen itself, because you can only have one person with enough room realistically. Everyone else had to like get out the kitchen if you went to do proper cooking. If you were, say, one person gets something from the fridge and someone's at the sink, that was fine, good. But if you're trying to cook like dinner for 5, having 2 people in that kitchen, other than serving food, got in the way quick. And obviously that annoys people, so. Right, so we got all the data values we want, but for some weird reason I didn't put the years on the sheet. I did a sheet separate with the years. What was I thinking there? I also put the cat. I had to do research for this, bear in mind, guys, so I was like researching this over Christmas. I do see what you said in chat. I'm just quickly looking at something. What is this from? Oh, okay. Let me read your message now, sorry. I made a dresser into a multi-purpose storage / kitchen island. That does actually sound interesting. No, I can get behind that. It serves multiple purposes. Yeah, that makes sense. Because if you've got less space, you need to conserve space. It makes sense. Quite a rational thing to do, actually. Yeah. Yeah, because you're saving space. You're not trying to cram everything into sardines kind of approach. Excel almost crashed itself trying to save to the cloud. I know why, because actually it's not Excel's fault. It's my firewall set to block anything to that specific address. They don't want stuff going to the cloud, specifically their cloud, so it's like, I can't reach it. It's like, yeah, I don't want you to. So, yeah. Looks to be you, Excel. It tried doing it, it failed, it errored, and it kept going. Trying to work this out now. Standard barrel, yeah. So, here we go. Now then, we have the following values. Let's read through this a little bit. So the year available, and let me show you one. Let's go into here, into globes, because these are all values that are permanent. So ammunition, right? Type 1 in the ammunition, this is 0 in the array. So you've got the BOM, got cash, so how much it's going to cost to produce if you put on a weapon. The name of it, so in this case it's AC. This actually can remove, but this is an old version. Research cost, for some reason it's really high. And the year it's available. So yeah, this is why these are getting removed. These are all defaults. Oh, research RP cost isn't the RP itself, it's the cost with money. I forgot about that because you divide it down. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, so you can kind of see here kind of the point. And we're replacing all of this today. We're going to go in. This is obviously going to stay the same, but everything else in this array is going to get yoinked. So we're only focused on this specific section of small arms. The rest of these are already, hey presto. But when we release the update, the one in a few days, small arms is going to go on the beta for that update. That update is going to be beta because it's going to be changing the whole damn game. So I'm frankly rebuilding the game because it is a rebuild. But it will make for something interesting. Let's see then. I need to look at my sheet. So Okay. So. Hmm. You know what? Hang on a minute. I wanna think about something. Let's get Draw.io open. Right. Let's open Draw.io. Don't ask again about updating it, please, Draw.io. Thank you. So currently the game starts in 1950. And my brain is actually debating something here. So let's map this out, because there's an opportunity here. All the items in the game have a starting item, right? So let's say, I'm just going to use the start symbol as a start item, right? There's the 1950s, right? And you've already seen it. Some things like ACP, I don't think ACP was it? 05, was it? I think it was just a random place value. Let's think about that. $1904. John Moss is Browning. Maybe I was just randomly typing it in. Colt first introduced it in 1905. Maybe that's where I got that value from. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, so what you get the point is there's all this stuff before the 1950s, right? I mean, you got World War One, World War Two before the 1950s. Right, so let's map this out. What do we miss if the game is before then? Okay, let's have a look. So, I'm trying to work this out. You see, I'm looking at the timeline for this. Because the way I'm reading this, right, you had Vickers, you had Armstrong, you had Schneider, and Krupp. So there's all those companies, right? So let's just say, you can tell I've not used this in a long time. Where even is it? Process. Let's use the process symbol for this, right? Let's say we've got the pre-war landscape, right? That involves, you've got the naval arms race, you've got submarines, you've got over-reliant, it's not over, it's just reliance. And we've got rise of private arms dealers. Right, so these are all the events before the game even starts that you miss. Can we... Like it a lot clearer if we do that. And then just have... Okay. So those are the events before this, right? What years when I start that out? I'd say 1900. So let's just say 1900. It's the pre-war landscape. Okay. Now then, what follows that? I like how I'm drafting this out like I'm going to publish this. Let's say 1914 to 1918. That became a industrial mobilization. right? In terms of war. What else was the back then? Trying to think. I say mass production of arms. Right. So there's your events you missed there. Okay. And then you've got the interwar period, World War II, and post-era. So we are missing a few things. Right. If you can't tell my argument, I feel like the game maybe should become a bit earlier in this change. Oh, hang on, no, I forgot the interwar period. So we'll do 1919 to 9. If you know what I'm doing, guys, I'm reading my own research while also looking at this. So that's the interwar period. Alright, the interwar period, you had reduced spending, scrutiny, secret. Well, secret armor is more Germany, wasn't it? Japani, there it is. New. Okay, so that's the interwar period. Now here's the reason why the game starts in the 1950s opposed to this time. So 1945, you have what's now referred to as the military industrial complex, right? Now all this means is basically there's a massive shift into the use of private industry. There's also what are now referred to as GOs and COs. A good way to explain this, guys, is a GO means a government owned like defense, or let's just say weapon production plant, right? Actually, let's specify that. Producer. Okay, so anyone want to guess what a CO stands for? Anyone in chat have any ideas what a CO stands for? Any guesses on COs? I'm giving people time because I know people are running around. You pretty much hit the ball on the head, yeah. But officially, the CO stands for Contractor Operated. Okay, weapons producer. So the only difference is obviously the government owns one, contractors are profit center mainly. Okay, so before we had the military industrial complex, it was all GOs, then it became COs and GOs. So you're all good. Now then, at that point, there was 100 contractors in the US. Another thing you would consider the Manhattan Project. We're missing that. And obviously war. So those are events you missed there as well. So far we've missed all these events. Right? So there's a bit of history there that I feel like could be added. And then you've got the interwar period. So let's do 1945 to 1950, right? So call it the immediate post-war era, because it really was an immediate one. Stuff shifted quite quickly. So you've got demobilization, partial, due to Cold War. You've got the Cold War, the arms race. And then you've got, let's have a see, Korean War. Although that's already in the game, so we don't need to think about that. That's 1950s June. And then another reason why the game starts in the 1950s, specifically the Defense Production Act, which was September 1950. Right, so that's why the game starts in the 50s. Because before that, you don't have that act, so the law applies. Make these look a bit. I guess that's the only defending factor I see so far in not changing it. There's all this stuff prior. Alright, so we'll have the game start here, right? Oh, grab that one, not the other one. So the game starts, right? Now then, let's have a see what we're gonna go with. Okay, here's my actual official research. We're gonna have it all in one box this time, right? We're just gonna make a huge box. So we're gonna have the 1950s to the 1980s. This was my first ever research doc on this when we first made the game. And this is gonna be called the Cold War era. Now then, you've got the Korean War, so Korean War, Defense Act, Defense Production Act. So you've got the same as up here. You've got the New Look policy. That's Eisenhower. This shows how much I researched this. You've got Sputnik. 1957. First artificial satellite, as per I know. Oh my god. Sat-it-light is 2 L's, isn't it? Someone could correct me on that, it's not 2 L's. The Cuban Missile Crisis, that's only a few years later. That's everyone's favourite president with no head. Probably a bit of a dark joke there. Vietnam War, that's from the 60s to the 70s. That goes through several presidents. I'll just go up to 60s to 70s. 60s is around the time money started drying up as well. So let's say the major mergers, which was basically all the firms. Because bear in mind there's 100 when this all started out, and probably more than 100. So to make one item, it would have like several key chains. So when it came down to the end of it, you'd have little to any profit at all. Because you'd have share it between all these dozens of places. So there's that. That's the 1960s. Can't remember the exact day, and I think it was the 67, but it happened like multiple firms. You had like McDonnell Douglas came from McDonnell Aircraft and Douglas Aircraft Company. So that you end up with McDonnell Douglas because the first two names in there. It wasn't going to be like, I think at some point there was a discussion we had if it should have been McDonnell Douglas Aircraft Company. But they obviously went from just McDonnell Douglas. So, you know, they came up with a logical name at least. And then you've got, oh god, what else is there? The Arms Control Treaty. So that includes the Biological Weapons Convention. I think that's 72, so I'll say 1972, someone can correct me on that if I'm wrong. Say 72, try keeping it at the page. Actually, we don't need to even say that, we'll just say that. Say armed control treaties. Don't need to not specify it. Right, now then kids, now we get the post-war era, so post-Cold War. I love how this is what we're doing instead of programming, we're just breaking down why the game shouldn't be changed. So post-Cold War, the very first important thing that the Pentagon did was what was now referred to as the Last Supper. This is something I want to put in the game, bear in mind. I want to have the Last Summer, there it is, Last Supper. Why was I writing the Last Summer? That's 1991. All that means is, all the big defense companies, all their CEOs went to the Pentagon. Pentagon basically said, look, money's going to dry up. You're all going to need money. There ain't going to be any money. You guys are going to have to merge with each other and just hope for the best. And just for the context, 51 companies turned into 5 companies. That's how big it was. So we'll call that as a massive industrial consolidation. Oh. Yeah. In fact, let me get the diagram up. I have the diagram on my computer. Bear with me. This is how crazy this looks. This diagram is insane. Where is it? Here it is. It's from Reddit. Let me pull this up. Let's Reddit make it so easy to pull an image up. Who on God's green earth would want it as a web peg? Oh, come on. Open from computer, file, web peg. Save it as a PNG so I can actually view it on stream. There we go. Okay. So this is from an official document. And let's show it. Where is it on my... I'm actually registering it as a screen I can show. Why is that? Ah, there it is. Look at this. Lockheed has all these companies, including Comsat. They all merge in. So you see how they start to merge together and then they all become consolidated. Then they consolidate more. One of them breaks off to become just a communication company. You got Boeing, you got Raytheon, you got Northrop Group, and you got General Dynamics. In 1980, you have all these independent companies. 1990, they start wobbling in together very quickly. You see here, this is the Last Supper. All of these people are like, shit, we need to move. All combined together. And then you get to around 2001. Most of them, if not all of them, have already merged, but for Northrop Group, which is Northrop Grumman, which is still working on it. And that comes from the two big major players right here, Northrop and Grumman. So now there's two arguments for this, two big arguments, right? Say these guys in airspace production are all making little parts. Each part makes a plane. They all get little bits of money. That gets complicated. So they basically argue we need to compact ourselves and therefore it'll solve the problem. It didn't. Because then you have a monopoly in a way. But would I call it a monopoly? Not really. It's a mixed bag. So this is just 20 years though, guys. It specifies there first wave, second wave. You got before the Cold War ends, because it's kind of on the wall. After the Cold War ends, it's shit hit the fan, and all these waves are ramped up quickly. So when you're researching to make a game of this context, and you come across this in that document, it is insane. Bear in mind, as it clearly says bottom, this is just for the aerospace industry. So there's even worse diagrams I've seen. So I don't know how if anyone lost their jobs over this. That wasn't something I need to research. What I need to research was just specifically how it impacts how the game's mechanics should change. So I've got a bigger diagram of this on my wall in my actual room that's even worse. So don't worry, if that looks bad, it can get a lot worse quickly. Right. Where was we? Where was we? I can't spell. Companies due to station. So that would be a shift and focus to shifting focus to what? My brain doesn't work. Shifting focus to operations. How have I done that? Where I type the A faster than the operations, civil, and defense production. Because they used to have companies that would produce both at the same time. Telecoms is the big one. Whereas now they're not always intermingled as much as they used to be. I think I found out the most when I was researching. So you see what I'm getting at? So there's events before the 1950s, and this is only up to the 80s. Or technically later than that. I should actually go in here and specify that. 1 second, let's add a line. Hang on, let's fix this. There we go. I think I might hop by the store and grab some dinner items and set snowy and it sends ice treacherous, so I'd rather not do in the dark. Sorry, I'm missing on the research. Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. So it's better you don't do it in the dark because I'd rather you not slip and injure yourself, to be honest with you. So, no, you're good. Take your time. I'll probably still be here anyway. 1990s. Gonna walk it, meaning I'll be back in like half an hour or so. All good. You're all good. I remember last night someone was driving after the fire alarm. They came in and they're like, my car, it's so slippy on the road, and it's a new car, so it was sliding everywhere. And I won't lie, we could see on the camera before they came in, and I was laughing my ass off. I should have been, but I was. So let's move over here. Right, let's have 2 lines. For you. Oh my. What's that lag? No, undo. Yeah, good. Good. Damn, no winter tires. That sucks. That sucks. Yeah. See, winter tires are one of those things that, you know, it's annoying to have to get, but if you need them, you need them. So perhaps he needs reminding to buy them for next year. Although again, it's not one of those, like, if it was up to me, or if I had a car right now, which I don't, I would buy them and put them in the garage somewhere. And then get close to winter, I would put them in the back of the car, go to the car shop down the road and be like, can you put these on, put my old ones in the back of my car? Thank you. And then end of winter, I'd go back there and be like, yo, end of winter, can you take them off, put my non-winter ones on, cool. And that's how I do it. Yeah, exactly. That's how I do it. But like, that's what I was going to get to. You spoke before I had a chance to mention why I was mentioning it, and not just that, we haven't had that much snow. So you know what I mean. Where I'm right now, do I think it's slippy further down the roads? Yeah. My main drive area and my main area of concern seems to be generally okay because it's a high traffic area. Going to places like the shop is a high traffic area. However, I can see for a fact going to the park is not a demand because it's got a lot of snow and ice. So, yeah, really depends. Uh, Oh, I don't want to paste. I want this stuck on my clipboard now. There it is. I got two of these. One sec. Yep, just want one. That's good. I wish it stopped bugging like that. Events. It's supposed to be the most laid-back way of researching known to man. I might take a few minutes and go get myself some food. For me, it's quite easy. I've got stuff in that I can eat here and now. I just need to go and get the bits and bobs to put together. Kind of contemplating what to eat, though. I've got a good idea, actually. Right, guys, I'm going to take a quick break. We're going to go get something to eat. I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, I got distracted in the most interesting conversations possible, and we're back. So, mind me not to stop in the hallway again, eh? Alright, let's have a see. Where were we up to? So we did up to the 1990s. We got 2000s to 2025. That's basic history. We all either know parts, we all lived through it. So let's summarize this a little. Let's have a see. Okay. Everyone's still there? Or have I killed your board and waiting for me? Really use Restream to just quickly view this, but we'll use Twitch first, because Twitch is usually the go-to place to check. Okay, cool. And then YouTube, Studio, YouTube. I'm checking views this way. This is the most inefficient way possible. You concurrent with 3 people at once on YouTube? Okay. Right, anyway, back to what we're doing. Let's get summarizing. Grab this, drop it right here. In fact, hang on, who pinged on Discord? Is this important or is this not important? Check. I was gone for so long I won't know otherwise. What background? There it is. Okay. What we got? All these pings are unimportant. So I'm a bit let down there. That's interesting. Okay, cool. Right. So this will be the 2000s. Cooked a whole full meal course for real. Listen, okay. I had a wonderful conversation. Or as Trump would say, I had a beautiful phone call. And I've got my food at the same time. Just the conversation ran on longer than the food took to make, so the food's kind of getting cold now. I honestly lost track of time and didn't even realize how long I was gone. Okay, let's have a see. So we've got the worst part of history so far in this list. Post 9/11 and spending surges. Contractor Alliance, right? So you've got popularization of PMCs. PMCs just simply stand for private military contractors. You normally see them in more places like Russia and, you know, and that with Wagner, but you've also got some American ones, so, you know, like Blackwater. So, yeah. My most favorite part actually about this is, ratio of military one-to-one, which is wild. It's the first time in history that ever happened. So I put a note there. You've got more industrial consolidation, so and you've got let's see, shifts. You've almost finished work. That's cool. That's cool. What time do you normally finish work? Towards. You've also got cybersecurity. Everyone's favorite one. I remember when I was first researching this game, that was not a big issue. And space. $12.30. Aiming to finish 115 death notifications today, and then put the. That's a lot of death notifications. Obviously, most of not all of them are natural causes, thankfully, but still. God, I did not mix this pasta well, did I? I'll mix it more now. There we go. Right, what was I thinking? So in 24, what was the other thing? There was some scrutiny as well, so you've got that. Geopolitics as well. Thanks to Trump. All right, and that feels like pretty much it. Okay. So you've got all these different eras in this, and we've got just 1, 2, 3 eras, maybe 4. We'll call this the 2010s. Although really it's not the 2010s because some of that doesn't always. Yeah, we'll just have that 2000s to 2020s. So in my head, I want to include all this, but it's not as simple as just include. A lot of the research, a lot of the things in the game are centered around this, with some tiny overlap. So let's have this be green. This be red. Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. So they're basically being shipped there, if that makes sense. Believe it or not, you used to do that with your kids back in the old days. You would say to the mailman, take little Timmy to grandma's and put postage stamps on it. Crazy times. Shame we can't live in those times where you can trust strangers that much. Although I will know, strangers nowadays are different in the sense that it wasn't really a stranger. You knew your local postman. In fact, I still know my local postman. So that's okay. Alright, cool. I can see that some of these have got wider gaps at the top, so maybe I'll standardize it in a minute. Right, yeah, standardize that now. If we grab these, we'll just say that the spacing from top and bottom should be 10 left, 10 right, 10, 10. Cool. So, first time using this courier, always lovely message throughout the year. That's good. I guess for them it's a very small niche business because obviously they're shipping dogs. How many people need a dog shipping in a year? Now you might say there's a bit of business, but it's not like they're going to have, you know, hundreds a day. So they're able to keep track of their current customers, the customers they've had. Makes it easier, I guess. Yeah, exactly, yeah. I don't know how big the dog traveling business is. I'm now curious. Oh, courier, right? No, I'm looking this up. Let's have a quick look for statistics. The Google AI thinks I'm asking how many dogs are curious a day. It's like, couriers? No, you must be asking if they're curious. Not what I wanted. Mail by animal delivery ratio. So let's just say nearly 500,000 dogs in the UK in a year is the average under the pet travel scheme. So you're looking at perhaps 5 or 6 animals per day through daily rates. So that's one specific company that says that. They said they had 176 animals in July. Okay. Death for licensed cat and dog taxi. You see, I've always wondered this. And I've always actually had this idea in my head where we take the dog from mine to Nan's. If an Uber that does pet, now I'm not saying they're reliable to just put your dog in. However, what I'm saying is, I've always wondered what they would do if you just said, yeah, here's the dog. She'll get it out when you get there. I've always wondered that. Never done that, but I've always wondered it. Because they do Uber pet. Now, often I'll just walk it there, because it's not like that's that far, realistically. But whether like today, I probably wouldn't walk it there, because the dog wouldn't want to do it. Get like halfway and it'd be too cold, which fair enough, I guess. I've always wondered that, if they would actually let you put the dog in the car and not go with it. I've never read the terms or never used it properly, so let's Google this. Let's find the policy for it. What's the policy on this? Yeah, I just found the policy. So, you are solely responsible for the animal's behavior and safety during the entire ride. Due to the driver's liability, they have the right to refuse transport if they find that the animal is unaccompanied and it could present a risk and insurance issue for them. The general guideline prohibits unaccompanied minors and pets for traveling alone, with the exception of teen accounts for human minors in some cities. What the hell is that wording? Teen accounts for human minors. Let me copy that. I'm keeping that as a reference. That is some fancy ass way of putting it. Teen minors for human... Teen accounts for human minors. I guess because they want to specify dogs in there. I bet someone's pulled the card of, well, my dog's a teenager. Fucking Florida man. Yeah, so no, you can't, for a multitude of reasons. That's interesting, though. I've always wondered that. It's like one of those ideas that you know it's so stupid you wouldn't do it, but you're obviously curious to how it works anyway. The more I read this policy, the stranger it gets. At 2 a.m.? I guess if the motorway is having issues, I can kind of see a little delay, but 2 a.m. feels a bit crazy. But I'm getting the impression they... I don't even understand that. That's confusing. Is there like an app like Uber for this, or do you just call them? I'm gonna guess you just call them. It's not got like an Uber tracker for your pet, are you? Because in my opinion, that feels like a waste of just internet bandwidth. Ah, right. So they drove the whole way non-stop. Arrived at 2. Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm assuming they didn't get like the dog out the car and start posing for the camera and delete the journey though, when they took the pictures for each country. Strange. I guess it depends. It's, yeah. It's obviously, the way I'm seeing it, it's an animal, it's not a person, so it's not like, I don't want to word this badly. Obviously I do like dogs specifically. They're not as concerned after it's been like a dozen of them. Yeah, especially if the dog gets nervous. And yeah, I see that being, yeah. Also, it's also borders. You're crossing borders, so as stupid it sounds, they might be picky. If this is game concept, research concept, save. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I just read that. Yeah. So right, let's jump back to GDev. Dribbled everywhere. Yeah, I read what you said as well before that, but yeah, dribbled everywhere, just caught off guard. As like, I can see that. Yeah, I'd just be laughing if I saw a dog dribbling. I'd understand why it's a nervous reaction, but that would give me kicks. Poor boy. Is Bliss a boy actually? One says, check that. Bliss a boy? It sounds like a boy name, but I could be wrong. Okay, I didn't know, yeah. Right, I need to look at the data. The three little devils, yeah. What email have I just been CC'd into? I need to read this now, 1 second. '15th of January at 10 AM. Okay. So I get CC'd into weird ones. A lot less hassle. Interesting. Does this show up in my calendar already? Has it been added as an actual meeting, or has this been added as like a impromptu? Because I don't want it colliding with stuff. I know I've got a meeting at 6 PM tonight. I'm going to look forward to that. 3 messages on my calendar. What's these 3 messages then? Let's have a see. These messages from November. I've only... Can I just like dismiss them? Like, can I... I have to open each one? Oh my Jesus. Girls come in season, lose... Coat boys don't... Why did they lose their coat when they come into season? I'm gonna guess it's not for all dogs, because my dog doesn't lose her coat when she goes into season. Each upcoming appointments. Scheduling. Yep, it's on my schedule. Interesting. It says I had a meeting on the 27th of November, 2:10 last year. No one called me, no one tried to reach me, no one left a message or said I missed it. Strange. It's a TC, it's a teleconference. Because it usually have an F2F, which stands for face-to-face, or a TC. A TC, no one's called. I can even go back to that day and see no one called. Maybe the wrong number? I don't know. Approve calendar, I'll accept that meeting. I'll add it to calendar. Save that. So that's... Yep, that's him. Cool. When is this? I have this meeting tonight. When is this? It's at 6, okay. It's definitive because I can see it's on their end and my end. Let me say yes to that. Okay. Who's all hosting? I like how I'm sidetracked into this. Double the hormones, code breeds, drop down to go. Oh, okay. Right, okay, makes sense because my dog's not. I mean, she's a fluff ball, but she's not that, you know. That makes sense. I can get behind that a bit. So, When splits, I can't pronounce that. Spits, family, double coated. Okay. Mine's a cockapoo, so mix of poodle, cocker spaniel, so. Very smart, very mischievous. Like I've ended up doing admin while streaming here. This is a weird book report. It's a bug that won't exist in the future, but it's still weird. I mean, one of the goals I want to do is I want to keep the old build of the game 1.3.1 available. So if you want to go back and see the old version for whatever reason, you can. I don't mind some people's bug reports, but some people just don't do them. Someone now just tried to call me and it blanked it as if it's important. Leave voicemail. Yeah, if it's important, they should leave a voicemail. If it's not important, then they won't. Yeah. I hate when that happens to me because it's like, how do you expect me to know who this is? Okay. I feel like the village idiot right now. I'm looking at the spreadsheet that I made a while ago for the items in the game, and I'm looking for something and can't find it. Now I know why. So the spreadsheet is big enough it would fill a 4K screen, so I've just like shrunk them down. Let me show you how I saw it for a second ago. Look at this. It's the year it filled, right? So a bit of this was generated, the bit that's generated was the zeros, and then I gave it the data from the old sheet, and I was like, yo, I don't want to match these up, just match them up. That's all AI's done in this. But I was looking and I was like, did it get rid of the years? No. I had done the years manually and forgot I put them over here. These like the physical hard lock years. So I'm looking for it and I'm like, why is the gaps? So all this is the exact year they should be around what I'm looking for. So I'm staring at it like, where's it gone? But the physical lock years seem to have then rounded themselves when the AI touched it. So here's a lesson, don't use AI when you're editing stuff. If you do use it, keep the backup, which is what I've literally done. I've got me my backup, and we're just going to go back to the backup. It's useful to a degree. I mean, it didn't touch my blue, so I'm happy with that. Everything else looks right. All I needed it to do was carry across the old stats. And the reason why I had it do that is this is laid out different, and I didn't want to go through and have to reorganize this. It's sorted by the weapon type. You can see the old parts where I basically laid it out and stopped. Oh. It looks right. Ah, I know where it's, yeah, you see this? It's, the AI doesn't understand this is not a item, it's a category. So it's taking these as items in the count as well though. Because see here, it's not a type, it's just a standard. Because this would be the first item. So that's another thing, that's why you don't trust AI to do this stuff. I've just asked it to make it so I can visualize it on a piece of sheet. Because it's already in the game. I just wanted to be able to view it and be able to read it this way. Instead of like, GDevelop, if I flick back over there, if I'm in GDev, I have to then go in here and read it like this. Now this isn't terrible, but I have to then open each one. So you can see why having it on a sheet's useful. The sheet isn't something that needs to be, well, it won't be publicly accessible anyway. That's why I don't mind using AI to parse the data into it. It's clearly done a shit job, so you know. People that think AI is going to take over admin, I mean, it could barely handle putting data on a sheet properly. Honestly. As an explanation also why it's only got the triggers and the barrels as my glass segment on, it's because I researched these first alphabetically originally for the B, and then also the trigger because it's the second most important component. So my research doc, if I show you that, you jump over here. Small arms, no, game category. That's where I did organize it. That's not what I want. That's the original. Where is game category? Ah, there you go. This is my more fancy looking sheet. Just tells me what each item has per part. And the way this is organized, for those that can't tell, is if it's the same type of item, they're on the same line. If they're not the same perfectly, but they're similar, they're on the same line. If there's no similarity and there's a space, have a space there. So, trying to keep it organized. And then the older ones were a different layout where it's like this. So what this means is this is a universal parts, meaning they are more than likely on more than one. And then these are the not linked to anything parts. And if you go to some of these, here you go. These are universal and on everything. So I organized it in such a way that it made sense to me on that. So why is it? Oh, it's am I not editing? Right, because when you do this, if you do an invert, I can't do it because I'm in editing. Yeah. So normally this white area is hidden, but because I've not turned on editing, it can't do that, apparently. Anyway, this is the area we're focusing on for the update, so there's all the mechanics I need to work at. As for AI, I don't like it. It doesn't get the data right. All I asked it to do is look at sheet A, grab the names, match them and put them on sheet B. That's it. And it kind of did it, but I'm looking at it and some of it just doesn't make sense. Minus the year invented where I've not finished it. That's going to take me some time tonight to go through and research all that. We flick back over there. Okay. Like I said, it's taking stock type as an item. Stock type is the name of the item type. So that should not be considered an item. Nor should the bulk carrier group. So really, anything with the word type in it, you know what I mean? It's... Can I query how many types there are? It would tell me. I guess I could do it this way if I said, fuck, what's the Excel formula for it? I don't know what it's called. I know it's a count. Count. Ah, count if. Count if. Count if. Bracket. Anything up this. Oh, it's being stupid now. C3 C3 to C what? C424. Welcome back. I was searching for if quote type is present. Oh, it's trying to match permanent, isn't it? It's not count if, because count if that would be like if I went here and said type, then it would be a true. I'm looking for counting if it's partial. I think a partial is there we go. 91 types are in there, right? Welcome back as well. I don't know if I already said that. So that means 91 of these values, the AI has matched something with it that doesn't exist. And it's given it values. It's made up gibberish. All I wanted it to do was go, okay, I can find threaded barrel on this other sheet. There it is. Grab this. Now, in theory, I could have done that myself. I could have wrote it out as an equal and then match to this. If it's this, put this data in this order, but that would be a pain in the ass. So I was hoping AI would understand if the item type name and the weapon type and component type all match to this, grab the data, not create data, grab. Now I'm looking at the sheets compared and it's got the right values for some of these. I should pick a random one. Let's go for the shotgun smooth barrel. Smooth bone barrel. So it should say, I'm looking at the screen now, so 02000001000000 1 low low and 020000010000 low low. Okay, yeah, so it's at random. I've picked that out and it's got that right. Is the year, what did I go for the year? This is the joy of having a Word doc where I can go back and find my source. Hey, let's hear what Dan writes at night on his tablet when he's researching this shit. Although it's not arguable about the fact that it emerged well and truly in China around 1000 AD from fire lances, that is not a reliable source for a shotgun. And so I'm not going to acknowledge that, and we're going to look for something better. Then let's go to the other source below. Yep, I thought so. So I referenced 1300s, however, my own quote here, the shotgun, and it's in quotes, that were probably an early smoothbore firearm known as a fowling piece. These are from the 16th century in Europe, although the earliest source I could find says the 13th, so that's where that comes from. However, arguably it's more like the 16th. And there's a picture of what one could look like. What I need to do is I need to go in and just find modern examples for these. It's a smoothbore. Let's have a look. Remington 870, that's a good idea, but no. You know what I might do? Honestly, I've had this idea for a while. We might change the game drastically. I've had an idea, chat. I've had an idea, which, as Yasmin can testify, usually when I have an idea, it either results in someone falling at the back of an ambulance, or it goes really well. Let's make a new diagram. So normally, we fix the player to a loop, right? That's how games work. You have a game loop. What if we change how this loop actually works for the better, right? Let's map this out a little. Just follow me here for a second. Right? We're going to get a basic flowchart. We're not going to really use it as a flowchart. We're just going to use squares in a circle to try and make this look right. Right. Game starts. Right. I've already got a... 1 second, guys. Let's go find my original diagram. Why are we doing that? Drive. Well, when I show this graph in a minute, you might understand me then. it might make sense at that point. Because when I pitched this to my publisher, this idea 2 years ago now? 3 years ago? Jesus, how long ago was it at this point? Something went wrong. Please try refreshing the page. Or, Google, please stop starving issues while I'm trying to find something for demonstration purposes. Ah, Drive shared with me. I'm surprised my publisher's not deleted this, but I guess they're being nice to me by not doing that. I mean, they definitely are, because I get to pull this image up. Hey, it still exists. Right. This was my most fancy presentation. Are we all ready to see what Dan presented to a publisher 3 years ago now? 2 or 3 years ago? We're gonna see this revolutionary diagram. Are you ready for this, Yaz and Yona? Ynoa? I always mix up your name. Because this is either going to make you piss yourselves, laughter, or it's going to be revolutionary. Hear them. Now, the player should buy the first building. Research starts. Player should buy the first production line. That's the first cycle loop. What do you not notice in here? It doesn't say anything about locking stuff to years. So what if instead of locking it to a year, we lock it to research points? And we just make research points a little more rare and let the player define when a technology was made, but make it hard to leap forward too fast. Management game, strategy. About making weapons. This is the original loop. This is the first draft, which apparently I still have it downloaded somewhere in my docs. So apparently I could have just found it in my PC, even though I went and just found it. Oh god, I have the spring sale art still. Oh, I've got... Okay, I love this because this is how... If you've got a good publisher, and I still think my publisher is good. I have no qualms with my publisher. If you've got a good publisher, right, they have to go through, and every language or region will have its own thing in Steam. So you end up with this. This is a partner share square, right? So you've got the Steam banner, and you've got the game, and then they have to go through, and for every currency, map out what that would look like. And it's an image, so you have to make them all. You have to generate them all. Yeah, the circle thing I came up with while I was thinking about something else, and I just thought this would look easy. Ooh. That seems to have clipped over. I don't really want to notice that before. Anyway, so this is how I know my publisher was doing something, because you have to go through and work this all out in advance. As a side note, everyone sees the price on this, right? This is why I've still got this downloaded. So let me turn my music down because my music's doing my head in. I don't know who came up with that. I'll be honest with you. Someone at Steam, not even at Steam, some company came up with the idea, and then everyone started copying them for that year. And I'm sure there's a lot of poor photo editors that had to go in and not only get it right, because it would be critical if you got it wrong, it would be false advertising, but do it multiple different types of currency. In fact, can I show you? I don't think I can show you per Steam policy, but I can definitely read to you how many currencies there are on that list. So let's have a look, shall we? Racing. I was on here the other day because I was trying to work something out. My game has the following purchasable currencies that you can use. By default, the US dollar. The next one, Chinese yuan, euro, pound, Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, Japanese yen, Korean won, Russian ruble, Emirati dirham, Brazilian reals, Swiss francs, Chilean peso, Colombian peso, Costa Rica colon, Hong Kong dollar, Indonesian rupee, reef, I can't pronounce it, Israeli new shekel, Indian rupee, Kuwaiti dinar, Kazakhstani tenge, Mexican peso, Malaysian ringgit, Norwegian krone, New Zealand dollar, Peruvian sol, Philippine peso, Polish zloty, Qatari rial, Israeli rial. I've already butchered myself. My brain's broken. Saudi Arabian rial, Singapore dollar, Thai baht, Taiwanese dollar, Ukrainian hryvnia, Uigurian peso. I'm probably butchering that. Vietnamese dong, South African rand, Commonwealth of Independent States dollar, Latin American dollar, Middle Eastern African dollar of some sort. Basically, that's more for like conversions if you're in a country that, you know. Yeah, Vietnamese dong is a currency. It is a currency. As goofy as that sounds, my game in Vietnam. We go back to it 1 sec. Just search for dong, it'd be easier. My game is worth 87 dongs. So take that as you will. Take that as you will. Jesus Christ. I want to see that on a sheet now. I want to go find the image for the dong and find out how it's even written. I hope it says 87 dongs. I hope that's what the price on the advertising said. I need to go to the currency office now and buy a dong. Get one Vietnamese dong and put it in a photo frame. They probably have an icon. Oh, they definitely do. They definitely do. Let me get it up. It'll be in the art pack. It looks a lot more PG than I was expecting. I was dreading getting something different on the Google search. This is what it looks like. Oh, my computer can't handle it. It's set to be in a background on it. Yeah, I was expecting some weird Google result, but apparently it has to have a black background as well. Yeah. Strange. Strange. Anyway, back to what I was on about. So, after we've now looked at the dong, I'll put the dong over here, so we've got, you know, some support in the corner. The game starts, right? And in fact, let's do it this way. Let's do it this way. We'll have some limitations, but we'll make them minimal, right? So we'll let the player define themselves a bit more than they currently can. We'll have research points. We'll have an era lock. Kind of realize how I want to make this look more logical. So instead of locking to a specific year, which I feel like is micromanaging the player's ability to choose something, we'll lock it to an era. Right. So let's have a think. We're going to have eras. So we've got the 1950s. That's going to be fun, isn't it? 60s. I'm going to go for it after. 70s. 80s. 90s. 2000s. 2010s. Oh. 2020s. We'll have 2030s. We'll do some futuristic shit. I've always wanted to put some like futuristic shit in, but did I really just do that? okay. I'm having a stroke. Anyway, 1990s. 1980s. As a side note, we're working on a new game, and my brain wants to like go full ADHD mode, even though I've got ADHD, and just switch to working on that design doc, because I'm doing design docs now here. Okay. Make this more and more presentable. Let me duplicate you so I can see what it should be. Okay. Come in and grab you, put you there for a spacer. Grab all you. Move you there. And then because you all need to be one over anyway, move you there. And then we get the fun part. Do I really need lines? Guess we're going to do them anyway. Oh, apparently I grabbed the line that already exists. We're off to a great start here. You see, this is something I can see an AI being useful for. It's not even an AI really, it's just an assistant. Have it tell it anything from era to link to this, and that'd be all I'd want it for. I don't need an AI to tell me how to cook pasta. And I'm kind of scared by how many people asked how to cook pasta in 2025 using AI. And when I said I don't mean from our study, I mean in the building I live in. What the fuck is going on here, AI? AI, there I am, I'm saying AI to it. It's not even an AI that's done that. What's going on here? Program. Yeah, it does, because it looks like it links in properly. We can delete our spacer in a minute. Right, we'll have tiers of research point values. We'll make tiers and we'll have to link them to certain tier locks. So I'll work this out in a minute, but basically a tier will be, if it's tier 1, it can only be so many points. And the more things you get unlocked, the higher it will go, but it'll be limited to that tier boundary. We'll do 5 tiers for now. Anything that's high tech will go in tier 5, anything that's, you know, lower go for. And all this is going to do, it's not going to be player facing. It's just going to be a value that the game will save to the thing that will basically determine the value of the item. If it's tier 5, it's got to be between this many points. Tier 4, this many. Why do you want to link like that? Like, you know what I'm going to do to stop it from wanting to do that? And now it should know it can't. Oh my god. This is... Swear to God. Why even drag it from there if you're going to change the position? I did it there. Yeah, but you're overlapping. Okay, anyway, there you go. Right, so we'll have era locks and we'll have research points. It'll be tiered. And I guess in theory we could research point and have tiers to the big items. But I don't want to make it so unrealistic, like, you know, someone unlocks crazy wild well and truly before it existed. Although then that would be fun. I guess I could put in a little value to say if era is valid, then era can be used. If it's not valid, you just go off the points. Let's mix up the music a little. Let's have a look at my actual list of albums I've got. We've been listening to Connected. Let's go for something else. Let's go for Superior with The Bronx. Working on the game I've already made. I was on about the other game we're working I can't talk about for a while now. And I want to just sort the docs out for that, because in theory the person I'm working on with will be back on the 13th. And I need to get all the publishing and studio shit set up for them and for me to collab on it. That means having drives, accounts, GitHub, the whole 9 yards. But I need to ask them, do they want to use their own email or a official email for it? because I've been meaning to ask them that. And bear in mind, I've talked to them between them, but I'm letting them have their holiday first. I'm not going to start talking work on a holiday. Even though I know if I say that to them after they're back, or they're watching this, they're going to now message me like, yo, why? Yeah, it's a nightmare. It is a nightmare setting up. Especially the GitHub, because now the GitHub has like 3 different games on it. I've got one game someone else is making and wants me to put on the Steam and publish through me. Don't know why. But he does. So that means I gotta do code review to make sure it's not something crappy. Although I've seen it, so it's quite good. So he has his own GitHub linked to ours. Just gets easier. Then we have this game we're working on now, Arms of Influence. And then we have the new game that is a hell of a lot easier to make because all of it's scientifically a fact. And it's simple. Because most people learn this stuff in maybe a bit primary school, but high school mainly, so I don't want to spoil it. How do I feel about it? It is complex. It is hella complex. So, yeah, I have my opinions on it. I'm also realizing I have that meeting at 6, so we'll probably break off here around 5:30, 5:40, so next half an hour to 40 minutes. Just so I can prepare for that meeting. And then honestly, I'll pick it back up after that meeting, after I've had a bit of a break. Right, so let's do one thing first. Let us begin by doing the thing that a lot of developers don't do, because, you know, life be easy if you don't do this. Because not all these will be in that build, because we're removing stuff because it's going to be beta, we just have one category to focus on. Copy this. We're going to throw this in a... I'm going to put it in a Word doc, but I'm also going to put it on Git. And we're going to call this items. GD backup. Let me go on Git quickly and just deposit that there so we know where the items are, because in a minute I'm going to delete them from the game. The game structures it like a list, so it reads its own list. So I can go in here and paste it any time and it would still work fine. So much so you can edit the list in a editor and then come back and put it in. Yep, that's me. I need my authentication code for GitHub. Woohoo. Happy days. Let's have a see. Off. GitHub. This is something I'm not going to show anyone because it's obviously safe to. And actually, the name of the new game's on there. Right. Add new file. There we go. Let me write this out. Contractor. Backup. Okay, name file. It was items GD backup. And then we'll commit that to the main. Commit to main. There we go. Cool. Right. Right. Okay, kids. So here's the fun part. because I don't really feel like making life too hell, we'll copy this. We'll delete that. We'll remake it. I do them in structures before someone asks, just to make my life easier. Does it need to be in a structure reality-wise? Okay. Now, everything in Pistol is a little not needed. All of this would be redundant because of the changes we're going to make. So, spreadsheet time. Right. Spreadsheet time it is. Let's make life a little easier here. This, I'm going to show my screen in a second, guys. There we go. And let's adjust this a little. Okay. Spreadsheet. Jump to... Hang on. Let me make a new save this. I don't want to edit this save. I want a new one. Okay. Call it small arm items with research points and tiers. Okay, save. Okay, I'm looking for that exact name I'm just typed in and I don't see it. There we go. Cool. So I've got rid of everything we don't need. We've got the errors here. The errors are pretty much right. The only thing is we've got this little error. We've got the types in here. So we know there's many of the types. So we're just going to have a bit of fun. Cycle through and fix this a little. This can't be all the items. It feels shorter. Right, give me a second. Because I do this on my laptop and not on here. It's a little problematic. Let me pull it from the save drive and find out if I can... Yeah, it's definitely short because we have 424 is what I counted earlier, right? 424 minus 790 whatever it was before I did that delete stuff. Yeah. 91, wasn't it? Right. Hmm. Gonna work this out now. Gonna work out how to fix this. What's the value called? I'm gonna work this out. If I use Okay. Idea time. We're going to do this fast. And this should be simple. So this is C. C has that many types in it. So we do... I got my brain to it and trying to think how to... Simple way. Let's fix this the simple way. I like how I'm spending such time editing this when it's only for my quick referencing for fixing stuff. Although it's going to be useful in a minute when I start planning out the values, so... It's not like it's useless. Got an idea. I don't think that will work because it's typed with quotes. Yeah, hang on. In my head I thought quotes were needed, but it's not, like it's Python or something. It needs to know it's a string. There we go. We can now see all the offending issues. My microphone's in the way. Right, there we go. Right, let's go through. We'll get rid of what's not supposed to be here. So close to my other monitor, yeah. So I've got a non-4K monitor, a 920p one next to a 4K one. So if I go over here, it puts it in the weirdest position. So if I go down here to the bottom, slide across, and then I come back across, I come across like up here. So strange. It tries lining up when they're both showing on both monitors, but it just doesn't work. Windows, it's just Windows can't handle it, so... It's because the scale's off. Now, ideally, I would expect, I'm going to simulate this. If I'm going across in the middle, that's the bottom here, right? Perfect bottom is... It's nowhere, because anywhere below here, below this, anything below this, it's the same place. So below 349, same place. But you see, I'm coming back over. If I go 349, I come back at 307. So I'm at least jumping up 2 rows. So, but the bigger the difference, like if I go across here, it's actually jumping down. So really, it's only using like a third of the monitor on the other side. So it's made me want to buy a second monitor of the exact same type, just to avoid that issue and a dozen other issues like YouTube being stuttery, laggy, and losing frames. And when I'm saying that, I mean it cannot handle the scaling effect it has to do to have both monitors at the same time. It was an issue I never expected to run into. Oh. Yep, so that's those. How many are left? 32, okay. This probably is the fastest way to deal with this issue. I'm sure someone's going to come in here and say something on the lines of grab this, go into find and select, go to special, and go to containing specific value or whatever it's called and select it that way. I considered it, but it won't because it will also get picky on this side, so... And so I then had to iron out the issues with that, whereas doing it this way, I'm the one in control. I can see what's going to happen. I click delete. It's quite obvious. It's not vague. Therefore, it's simple. In theory, 0 left. Whoopee. Right. Those are all the items. Now... I am seeing this right. Oh, this is going to be hell, isn't it? Go from the top. That's fine. Like a counting game. I've made a game where you have to count for yourself. Oh, hang on. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Wait. Whoa. Yeah. Call that one quick. Then this is also a 1, 2, 3. That's a 1, that's a 1. Just do this to make life easy. These were supposed to be spacings. So, I don't know if you were here, you know, but when I had this sheet, I had 2 sheets, right? One with the data for these values, one with just the names and where they're found. Like a basically find me location thing. The location thing wasn't needed anymore, so I got rid of that. And I wanted to combine the sheets, and I gave it to the AIs and said, yo, all you need to do, very fucking simple. Does this, and this match to the other sheet with the exact same values? If so, this needs the values that you find after this, basically all this, drop it in here. Now, I was trying to make it quicker, and it clearly didn't make it quicker in some areas. Now, I could, in theory now, begrudgingly go get the other sheet and start from scratch. However, that also feels like less quick now at this point. Even though this is not a game-related asset, i.e. no one's going to see this, it's going to help me when someone says, I have an issue with item so-and-so, it's called this, and I can go find it. So this isn't for publication, so that's why I was happy to use AI with it. This is so I know where shit is based on the name. Now, that's not a foolproof science with this, realistically. It's just like a shot in the dark, Hail Mary. A lot of items also missing on this just because they weren't on the other sheet. And that's my mistake. So at some point I have to go in and basically add spaces to where the ones are. About 5 on each one. I could make a Python script that does that. That's like the easiest part. Just adding rows. The annoying part is I'm going in and deleting the empty rows. Okay, I do see the errors here still, so... Oh, 2, 3. 2, 5. If someone's going to say, why can't you just shift it back to a 1 value? You can, but you can't. I'm going to demonstrate in a second. We'll go do that in a second, then hopefully you'll see why I'm not. Right, so we know for a fact the values here and here are always correct. Everything below this isn't correct, because these ones I made early on. Now then, if we go over here, we do this, we say 1, we just infinitely loop the 1s forever. You don't need to do that, really. You could just do equals this minus 1, or you could use this value. I'm going to delete that just for demonstration. I can then go to that. I can then just say, okay, duplicate this, get this. However, if you copy it over, it's going to copy the formula. So what you have to do, so first off, make sure I'm looking at the right thing. Triggers, it's this downwards. You click where you want it, then you're replacing it as the value. There you go. Problem is, some of these will still be right because I don't know which ones I didn't gen already after I did that AI test. So yeah, should be triggering barrels usually. I think some of them I edited later on though, so the values don't have that stupid type thing it added. It's because when it merged it, what it did was it shifted all these numbers and then seems to have decided to add a type value below these. It must have had 1 in there somewhere I hadn't seen, I've made, and tried replicating that in vain. Make sure that's right. That must be because they're empty. Okay. So it's this. Okay, here we go. This is why it's tedious, but this should make life easy. Okay, to be fair, that did actually work better than I was expecting, purely because there's consistency in that error I had made. Cool. That looks right. And the fastest way I can think of to check this is to simply say a rule exists here. Let me go to this whole workbook quickly, delete that rule. Current selection, new rule. If the value specific text, no, if value cell value. Now I'm trying to think how to functionally word this. Specific text is 2. Set it to yellow so I see it. And then very fast, we're going to quickly look through and spot that there's a 1 above the yellow. I will point out technically it would actually start at 0 because it's an index, but the index item will be the actual category anyway, so that is the 0. This just doesn't represent that, so that's fine. That's all correct. Basically, an index, you know, in some code it starts at 1, but in most code it starts at 0. So 0 is actually item 1. So then item 1 is actually item 2. Item 3 is actually item my brain. Item 2 is actually item 3. But then if you want to go backwards, say I want to get item 2, right? Just as much as you count this direction, you can say go to position -1, so it'll go 0, -1. -1's actually 2, so -1 will be 2. So when you're referencing data, it looks like that. That is an oversimplification on such a grand scale. As Yasmin will definitely scream at me for making such a simplification of it. Yeah. It's annoying sometimes because it's not always consistent as well. So sometimes it's a little problematic. Now then, is default's reserved for 1, so we're gonna hide this row. Is hidden, guess what, we're hiding hidden. Right, we're gonna add in front of era tier. I've got an idea. For the tier rule, we're gonna make it make sense. Because what we've basically done here, we've actually played it smart. So, here's my wacky idea. All these items are in order of year of access anyway. So we deleted the invention year and all that because it wasn't accurate. And also because it's hard to make some of these invention year items. So what we're going to say is the invention year doesn't matter, but when it gets given its organization, meaning which items in which order, that does matter for that, but it's hidden. It's not considered actually for the game purposes. The era will come from whichever era it falls in, which is already listed here. And the tier will link with the invention year, which will go from the order index. Or it can go from the era. I say it goes from the era. So, we need to think how to word this. Well, we're going to say if it's the 1950s, it's tier 1. 1960s, tier 1. 1970s. Writing this down to remember this. Tier 2. 1980s. Tier 2. 1990s. Tier 3. 2000s. Tier 3 again. 2010s. Tier 4. 2020s. Tier 4. 2030s. We'll leave that out for now because we're not made the 2030s. Anything 2030 there'll be tier 5. So actually we'll leave, put that in. 2030s. Right, I'm looking at all the functions for this, and I think the way we're going to do it is going to look a bit crazy. We could write a macro to do this. So here's the vote chat. Do we write a simple string of code in this box here? Or do we make a macro to do it? Actually, we can't do macro because if I put it on the organization drive, it will have an issue with it. And other people's anti-fire. Yeah, we'll do it this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an if statement. So we're going to say, in this case, F3 equals 1950, quote, S, quote, comma, tier, space 1. Now then, here's the fun part. We're going to grab this. I'm going to quickly go over to my ever so lovely Word. I'm going to edit it to line them up. Bingo. 1950, 1960, 1970, 1980, 1990, 2000, 2001, 10. My brain, I wrote 7 as well then. 2020, 2020. Tier 1, tier 2, tier 2, tier 3, tier 3, tier 4, and tier 4. Here we go. And that's what Word's useful for. Hit enter. Right, we got an error. What did I do wrong here then? Again, just edit it all in Word. Run again. I thought that would work, that. I like spotting my error now. This is a bit of fun. Well, what if it needs to be separated? Grab that quickly. What if we need to separate it into blocks? I do see it on Twitch, guys. 1 second. I'm over here trying to work and some... You know what I'm gonna do? I have an idea now. This person's annoyed me that much with their stupid bot thing. I've copied their message, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to write it into the bot for the stream. If anything even resembling that stream boo crap shows up, I don't need to intervene, it'll just get deleted. Anyway, that's what I was going to do. I've separated it up. Did I copy it or did I just copy stream boo? I copied the thing. Still an error. So what I did was I put it in spaces like this, thinking it needs to be separated, but the logic and the value doesn't seem to work. Ah, no, we see why. It's F2. Oops. I see, because no value. So if I just control F and go to G and then change from F2 to F3. I'll go on one line. Perfect. Me being an idiot. All on one line. Still doesn't work. Why? Why? Any ideas, chat? Oh, I see. I see. It's not got comma separations. And so long trying to insist on using them, I'm not using them. I'm right, aren't I? Yeah. I just remove them using no space. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm using Word to do this because I don't have the feature in Excel. Now that is a lot easier. Okay. Run it all the way down to the bottom. Delete the non-applicables. And then for the ones that haven't been researched, they've all got 1950s basically, guys. So don't worry about that. I need to go in and tweak it a little. In fact, I feel like I've already done that, though. I don't want to say I'm going crazy, but like I did already do that. Some of these I'll tweak as well, just to make progression more interesting. Hmm. Okay, now I want to do that bot thing I was on about. Let's have a bit of fun. Let's set it up. So, Streamlabs, Stream Elements. Streamlabs used to be Stream Elements. Don't know. Dashboard. I want to make it so that damn fucking stupid thing can't appear. I feel like they already have a tool for this one. Have a look. Chat. Spam filter. I don't think they do, because I'm looking at it right now and I'm not seeing anything. See, they use symbols to get around the chat, you know, cheap viewer thing. They did do that. Banned words, right. Here we go. Let's add me some banned words, shall we? Right, kids. Let's do it. Have a custom error message for this. It's going to warn and delete. Okay. So we want to get rid of the remove spaces. That's a key phrase. Stream boo. That's a key phrase. They won't be able to get me on that one. They never changed their cheap views thing, so I'll do that. Okay. Great group. Enable it. Enable it. Save changes. So now if they come in here, yeah. But you need streams. I've never even been curious to know what it's about, but I couldn't care. I mean, it's quite annoying. Let's do a quick test. Let's have a user called Scummy Spammer. Yep, it works. Yeah. I don't know why people even bother using it though, because it doesn't work. Especially on Twitch. Like, Twitch have those, like, phase days where they'll have, like, a clamp down on it, and they'll catch people doing it. And you'll notice the people that do it, that are in the know, notice not to stream that day, or they'll have lower number counts because they won't do it that day. And it's like, you know, it's like annoying, but it fuels an industry, and it fuels a very annoying industry. I've got my spammers go fuck yourself rule now anyway, so if they come in here with those, you know, stupid things, I can just do that. We have link protection on as well. That's all that's going to do, is going to delete the message for non-regulars. Technically no, but what I've done is I've worked out a way to make it recognize the link, because the link is Streamboo. I don't need the .com to recognize that because that's their common domain. They can't change that realistically. And if they did change it, and you know, then we're playing whack-a-mole, all I will do is make a script that will look for .com next to another word, and then we'll look for gibberish symbols that don't spell a word in the dictionary, followed by an @ symbol prior to it. And then I'll also look for the symbols in the word views, because they can't type cheap views with Twitch, so I'll find it that way. And I'll make a script that works out the probability on that, and if probability is so much more than, you know, a certain amount, delete the message. And if I had to do that to screen messages, so be it. It's not on YouTube, it's just Twitch. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It makes no sense because it will take me a few hours to make that functional, and once that's functional, you know, it will be effective. Oh. I mean, I've got my spam filtering to the minimum. It just times people out. I've just literally set to min, and it's set to time people out. I don't want to do anything more than minimum spam filtering. Physically, I can see it myself, so I'm not too popular that's an issue for that. No. Right, while we're on here, last thing I want to do is the lurk command. Advanced settings. Enable it only when I'm online. I can change that. So lurk says it works. This is the last thing I'm going to do before I go for that meeting. We're going to get the lurk working. Okay. I'm going to test it. So if I run a lurk now, does it trigger it? Nope. Right, let's figure out why. Settings. Okay. It's enabled, by the way. It is there. I can see it's there. I'm just confused why it's not working. If I change the lettering, what if it's already being used and it's just an error? What if I call it lurks? Nope. I do a mention. I feel like I'm just going to start typing my own things. I get caught for my own spam bot. This bot's going to take me as spam next. Try again. It doesn't seem to work, does it? And it's not even registering as a trigger. So... Ah, right, let's turn off the cooldown on it. That's not going to be doing any difference to it, but let's turn off the cooldown. Chat variable. What's the yeah, use is just user. This feels like it's overly complicated just to get it to do one tiny thing. Strange. Chatbot is on. So, honestly not sure why it doesn't work. Is it aware I'm streaming? Yes, it's aware I'm streaming. So why is it not working? I don't know. I've got to go for this meeting anyway in a few minutes, so try one more thing. Chat commands. If I did commands itself, commands, that's a default command. Modeler, you can find the commands here. So that worked. About uptime. Right, so it is working. It's definitely on. Just doesn't want to do the lurk. What if I did... What if I did this? Silly command. Nope. I'm gonna try it till I get it to work. Now called silly command just to see if we can get it working. Try again. Nope. You know this is annoying when I'm going in and... Yes, I know someone in the stream is spamming. The spamming person is me, bot. I need to remind me in OBS. Okay. Evidently that doesn't work. Let's delete that for a second then. We'll delete the command. Add the command. Oh, there's templates too. Why is a template? Call it lurk. Then we can find out if it's lurk that's the issue. That should have worked. I have no answer for why that custom command didn't work. Right, I mean, it's linked. None of this applies to it. It's all correct. I don't know. I'll do it tomorrow or tonight. Maybe not tonight. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll play around with my own time. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I'm going to go get ready for this meeting because I don't fancy being late. And when I get back in 2 hours from now, that's how long this meeting is going to take, I'll possibly stream. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. It's been fun as always with you. Words can't come out of my mouth now. Let's have a quick see. How are we doing today, viewer-wise? Which platform did better? Twitch or YouTube? Which went better? I think it's Twitch, but let's have a see. So YouTube had 3 concurrent views. And in total 8. Okay. With the average being for 12 minutes, 26 seconds. No messages though. Speak of the devil, 9 views. There's someone watching it right now. Hello, YouTube. Okay. Twitch. Let's have a look at Twitch's stats. We ready for this, guys? I don't think I can get today's, can I? Can I get today's stats? I get to end streams without. Let's reference yesterday's. We'll go off yesterday's chat. So let's just see. 16 views. Okay, well, it already wins on that ground. Yeah, I can't see today's because it says 0 right now. So, okay. 16 views, and this is not the place you view stats, so it's not really a great example. Want to get a specific one? Oh wait, can I see today's? Wait. Stats, summary. Yeah, I can. Okay, so we've been running in total. Oh wait, no, this is a nighttime stream? I'm confused. Is this minutes? This is minutes. Alright, I'm an idiot. Cool, working it out. Slowly understanding Twitch. So 57% was non-followers, 21% was followers. Apparently only 14% of you use a browser to watch me. Okay. 35 live views, 8 more than last stream. Returning viewers, 7. Okay, yeah, it's already 1. 7 of you returned. YouTube, 1 returning. Okay. Well, I think that summarizes today, so... What was the last stream like then? All returning. Okay. That's good. So yeah, that's the summary of the stream. I was a bit curious to see that. Let's have a proper look at the data at some point. That'd be fun. Won't be from anyone else, it'd just be me. It'd be fun to have a read about. So guys, I shall see you in a bit. I'm going to love you but leave you. Have a good evening, and if I stream later, I'll see you then possibly. It'll be in 2 hours or so from now. Give a break, give or take a bit of a break in between. These meetings will run on forever. They're boring, but we need to have them, so yeah. Alright guys, catch you later. Goodbye.